What other man's trash became your treasure? About 6 years ago I was walking to school, and someone was emptying out their flat. Just as I walked past they came out with a laptop bag. I asked if I could have it, and that's how I got my Dell Latitude C640 laptop. It's in pristine condition, except the hinges, which is a common problem apparently, and even the battery still works for an hour. I got a few other parts machines too. Accidentally wiped the original hard drive because my dumbass didn't label it ... My dad was so scared of it exploding that I had to power it up and charge it in the backyard using an extension cord XD. I've gotten several dressers that people have sat out by their trash. I just pull the drawers and put them in the back of my truck, heave in the piece, and take it home to sit outdoors in the sun for several days and wash it down with bleach first. Don't want to bring spiders, roaches inside, then I restore it somehow. Come to think of it, I have never bought a new piece of furniture besides a couch. I grew up watching my mom strip and restore old furniture, antiques, and reupholster furniture, so it was not hard to do. Online friends with a couple for several years. Unbeknownst to me, he had begun mistreating her, using her money for his gain, and neglected the hell out of her. They broke up. I had no idea. Was hanging out with her in video chat one day, found out she was taking a solo trip to Vegas, offered to go with, expected to be shot down. She instead offered to help me find a flight. So thanks to an asshole of a guy, our first date was a week in Vegas. Nowadays we're married with kids and a house. Like to 3 of the non-upholstered furniture in my apartment is shit I found on the side of the road. Bookshelves, dining room table, coffee table, TV stand, knit stands, etc. People just toss perfectly good furniture away. It's kinda nuts. I legit collect gas grills being thrown away in my backyard. 8 times out of 10 they just need a new burner or a regulator. I replace $40 worth of parts, clean them up and resell them for $200 or more. I made like $5,000 last year just from that. We live in a nicer area of town. Once a year you are allowed to put out anything you want for trash pickup. Typically you only get 1 city supply trash can. Anything extra you have to schedule a special pickup and pay extra. My husband has picked up a nice cooler, a weed whacker several over the years, a Power Wheels Jeep for our daughter, a workshop table, and a piano. After almost 10 years, we are putting out the piano this year. Hopefully someone else can enjoy it. A fixer-upper condo in a super high-end building, and one of the units was sold with all contents because the owner, an art collector, had died. His heirs didn't give a shit about the art nor contents. The new owner said the art creeped her out, so she gave away all the art to us neighbors. I ended up with an original Rene Magritte worth more than my car. I love that thing. It even had the certificate of authenticity and gallery info on the back. We used to live in a condo where things were set beside the dumpster for anyone to claim. The best was a little Tyke's kitchen ... had doors that opened, a sink with faucet working handles. A daughter was thrilled and all it needed was a good cleaning. When my daughter outgrew it, my mother-in-law repainted the exterior sticker details, and it was donated to her church preschool so many kiddos can have fun with it. Retro video games. I was fortunate enough to graduate university back 20 years ago, right when every parent was putting their children's video games on the flea market. So I purchased all my childhood favorites then, and you could get a complete copy of practically any video game made before 1995 for under $5. I'm glad I did too, because I would never have been able to afford my collection if buying it all at modern prices. All sorts. A wash basket which needed the inside cloth wash, an necked-up sofa and chair handed to me by a couple moving house. All of my kitchenware is either charity or gifted. My stereo, yes, I'm a dinosaur. I own one. Get over it, was given to me by a lady last year. All of my weights except the weight bench were bought secondhand, much like my clothes. The only thing I buy brand new is my footwear. underwear and socks. My trash. I had giant pumpkins decorating my 10,000 square foot house in an ungated wealthy Chicago suburb. Don't worry, I'm not wealthy anymore. So be nice. It just sets the story up. A few days after Halloween, I took them to the curb for trash day. A Mercedes stopped at the end of my driveway, and this middle-aged woman put all my pumpkins in her trunk. I hope she enjoyed her rotting pumpkins. I once heard a story about a woman who bought a mystery box at a garage sale. When she opened it, she found an old violin. She brought it back, thinking it was sold accidentally, but the seller said it was a final sale and was pretty rude. The woman got the violin appraised and found out it was a Stradivarius violin, over 100 years old and worth over $1 million. Don't know if it's true, but score. In the mid-2000s, my room was full of people's junk. My TV cabinet, my desk, and lots of hubcaps I found on the side of the road were nailed into my wall. Minus the hubcaps, everything else was taken from rubbish tip collections, and I used to do them once a year for a week. I was a teenager and loved going with my mate to find stuff. They don't do it that way anymore. Now you have to book it. This is shallow compared to some of these stories, but I picked up an upholstered coffee table on the side of the road in my neighborhood. Part of it had been chewed on by a dog. I discovered a way to conceal the bite marks with Bondo, painted the wood and put new fabric on the upholstery. You'd never recognize the finished product, and I get compliments on it. It cost me about $30 to upcycle. An office chair that I found next to a dumpster. I was about 16 at the time. Had a crappy little chair in my room. Look outside the apartment window and see a very nice leather office chair next to the dumpster outside. Go and take a look. It swivels, it rolls, it leans, there's no sign of damage. I take it back with me. 8 years later I'm still using dumpster chair and it hasn't failed yet. Roommate dropped his phone in the toilet. Couldn't start it afterwards. And when he did, there were green lines all over the screen. So he said the rest of us could have it, so I did. I left it in rice for 3 days. And when I finally remembered that it is still in the rice, I took it out and turned it on. It worked well. No green line in sight. Sold it on FB Marketplace for €40. This is going back 25 years, but I found an old 1970s music center in a skip. The turntable didn't work, but the radio did. And I managed to fix the tape deck, hooked up to a couple of old Wharfdale speakers I had. The sound that came out of that thing was like melting chocolate. I got 7 years service out of it before something important popped, and I had to lay it to rest. I live in a very small house in a very rich neighborhood. By comparison, I'm basically just trailer trash. Huge is worth thousands of dollars and stylized glass tables. Literally got a free working, albeit old BMW because the guy was too lazy to sell or fix it. All of these rich fuckers' trash is my treasure. My brother's laptop screen broke on his gaming laptop and he told me I could have the laptop if I wanted because he was going to buy a newer one. Otherwise he was just going to throw it in the trash if I didn't want it. I took it and hooked it up to my TV via HDMI and was able to use it. I didn't have a laptop at the time, so that was awesome. Bought a gorgeous 6-month-old £5,000 shown receipt from Housing Unit's 9-seater. Black leather corner couch with the 2 matching armchairs off Gumtree, for the princely sum of £100 including delivery. We couldn't fit much else in our living room after squeezing that bad boy in. Definitely the best bargain I've ever got. One man's trash became my treasure when I found an old weather journal at a flea market. Inside were stories of forgotten dreams and lost loves. Each page a glimpse into someone else's world. Turning discarded ideas into my own inspiration fuels my creativity and reminds me that beauty can be found in unexpected places. An old wooden army footlocker. Between deployments, my unit used our Rear D personnel to clear out storage back home. In an unused storage shed they had found a collection of old footlockers. I grabbed one, and for the next decade it became my love me box. My oldest son has it now as his cool stuff I found box. My cat, literally, I got when she was few weeks old. Barely alive from a trash bin. Vet told me not bother. She has too many infections. She had worms in her eyelids among other things. It was bad, but I wanted to impress my girlfriend that I can take care of it. The cat is 15 now. Our kid's slightly younger. When I was moving out of my dorm last year of college, my dad found a perfectly good fen sitting by the trash bin. It wasn't even inside the trash bin. It was like on top of a fridge or something. Guess the previous owner only used it for that year. Anyway, I've kept that fan for almost 8 years now. Found a kitten in a dumpster shortly before I started graduate school. Granted, I don't know if she was put in there directly, or if she climbed in looking for food and got stuck. She's been my best bud over a decade later, and I can't imagine those first few years in particular without her. I used to be a computer mice disposal in my HS uni day. If someone had a broken mouse, I would keep it. Most of them had a double-click issue, which was a simple switch replacement needed to make it as good as new again. If I liked the mouse, I would use it. If not, I would sell it online.